Hello, my name is Mary Ellen Erwin, and I'm from Buda, Texas. Today's presentation is on dyslexia. Recent studies show that dyslexia affects 80% of those identified with learning disabilities. And according to the International Dyslexia Association, they define dyslexia as a specific learning disability that is neurobiological in origin. It is characterized by difficulties with accurate and or fluent word recognition and poor spelling and poor decoding abilities. It is often unexpected in relation to other cognitive abilities, and they most often include problems with comprehension, which causes an impediment of growth of their vocabulary and background knowledge. Researchers think that learning disabilities are caused by differences in how a person's brain works and how it processes information. But children with dyslexia are not dumb or lazy. In fact, they usually have average or above average intelligence. Their brains just process information differently. As you can see, these are different characteristics of dyslexia. Now, while there is no one sign that a person has dyslexia, there are certain clues. As you can tell, in grades K through 4, they often experience difficulty with learning their alphabet, even knowing the letters in their names. They fail to understand that words come apart. For example, that snowman can be pulled apart into snow and man, and later on that the word man can be broken down still further and sounded out. And They often have the inability to associate letters with sounds, such as being unable to connect the letter D with the D sound. They get those basic sight words confused. Recognizing words from Fry's word list or Dolch words, they have great difficulty with that. Now, in grades 5 through 8, they often mix up words. When they are trying to say tornado, they'll say volcano, or instead of saying volcano, they'll say tornado. They substitute words a lot. They read slowly, and it's exhausting to them. Oral reading is often filled with substitutions, omissions, and mispronunciations. They avoid reading aloud, and that's when you need to pay attention to asking children to read out loud in front of the class. It creates terrible anxiety to them. When you shift to grades 9 through adulthood, you can often find that people do not like to read books independently. They lack fluency when reading, and even when speaking, they mispronounce names of other people and places. They trip over parts of the words, or they'll say, "Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue." Often these people have already developed unique coping techniques to deal with their reading and writing difficulties. Now, I show you this, the Dyslexia Handbook, which is a publication of the Texas Education Agency, and it was recently revised in July of 2014. I show this to you because it is a Texas law that the Student Success Initiative requires schools to administer early reading instruments, like RTI, to students in kindergarten through grades 1 and 2. The part that is new is the law requiring a reading instrument to be administered at the beginning of 7th grade to any student who didn't demonstrate proficiency. So the key here, though, is early identification, because the earlier the intervention, the easier it is to remediate. Now, this is what we know as RTI, response to intervention, which is a documentation of a student's response to the scientific research-based intervention. But regardless of the RTI process in your school district, the parents or guardians always have the right to request a referral for assessment at any time. This publication can also be purchased through your service center located in your area. Now, once a student is diagnosed with dyslexia, school districts must provide an appropriate instructional program for them. Since dyslexia is a specific learning disability, it requires specific intervention. And the instructional approach must be evidence-based and include the skills seen here. They must be explicitly taught, individualized, and multisensory, which means that they're using 3 or more of the modalities. Optimally, a child who is struggling to read should be given instruction in a group of 3 or 4 students and should receive this specialized reading instruction at least 4 and preferably 5 days a week. Of course, high-quality instruction is provided by a highly qualified teacher. Recent studies highlight the difference that a teacher can make in the overall success or failure of a reading program. When you have students that are practicing fluency training, as you see as an indicator here, the teacher can keep running records and other documentation to be able to show that the student is making progress. They will have a cold read on a particular story and then practice words that are within that story several days at school and at home, and then they'll have a reread of that particular story. Now, excuse me, there we go. I have to share with you that when I received my bachelor's degree, it was with a minor in reading. So when I went to be trained at Scottish Rite, I thought, okay, I've got some good background knowledge here. But I have to tell you, a whole new world of reading knowledge opened up to me. I learned so much more about the processes involved in reading. Because of our latest technology, we were able to read about how MRIs are utilized to determine what areas of the brain are being accessed when people are reading. It was fascinating. But as a general ed teacher, you can support the students in your class that have dyslexia by becoming their advocate. You can learn as much as you can about dyslexia. There are many sites, websites that are available to give you information about what you can do to provide instruction. As far as for the students' need, most students have planners, and if not, maybe have them write them down in a spiral notebook. But you have to have the students understand that when you verbally give directions, that you also have things that are in written directions, so that they'll know what to do when they get home. During the school day, providing more time for them to finish. You're going to find that, or you probably already know, that many students that have dyslexia lack in organizational skills, time management skills, study skills, but those types of skills that are taught can benefit all students, not just those with dyslexia. When you are communicating with parents, you need to make sure that you are keeping things on a positive note. Use lots of parental communication and make things in simple form, not demeaning, but give concrete examples of what it is that you expect the child to be able to do and how they can help at home. If it is going over a reading list of words just so that they can work on that fluency, then parents need to understand all they're doing here is practicing what we have done at school. It is not something new that has to be taught at home. But first and foremost, it's about being empathetic. And that's what this video is that is indicated to the right of your screen. It is a video that shows how it is for dyslexics as they are in the classroom, especially if you try to employ round-robin reading. It's very eye-opening. As parents, though, you can help your child by being the biggest advocate. Every child has something that they are good at. And while reading may not be it for those that are dyslexic, find what it is that they do well and encourage them to do that. It could be dance, it could be soccer, gymnastics, whatever that is. They need to feel success in something that they do, especially when they are struggling with reading at school. As a parent, don't wait. If your gut is telling you something is not right when they are young, get help early and insist upon it, because if you are asking for help and a referral or assessment, the school districts need to facilitate you in that process. Make sure that the programs that your child is using at school or receiving is something that is evidence-based. I have unfortunately seen school districts that have tried to serve their dyslexic children through computer-based programs, and that is not it. It has to be something that is a proven reading program. What you can also do is, besides reading with your child daily, is look into Learning Ally or Bookshare. Those particular organizations provide stories that are read to your child. And on Learning Ally, I know as a parent, we use that here in our home for the science and social studies texts that were given at elementary school, and it helped our daughter so that she could hear the content even though she had difficulty with reading it. Because as you know, with any book or any adult really, individuals' listening comprehension really exceeds their actual reading comprehension. So utilize that service and expose your child to great vocabulary, fluency, reading that's read with different intonation, and that will expose your child to what reading is supposed to sound like. Encourage your child to have organizational skills at home. Provide for them a checklist of routines, say your morning routine, a homework routine, bedtime routine, so that your child feels successful and knows what it is that is expected of them. Now, as a teacher and as a parent, these are different resources, websites that you can go to. The Texas Education Agency link will give you a link to the Dyslexia Handbook. It will also give you a link to accommodations that can be provided for your child once they are identified with dyslexia. The 3 books down at the bottom are just interesting reads that will give you a new perspective and help you to understand what it is to be dyslexic. Everyone wants their child specifically, and students to be successful. And the more you know, the better off you will be. Thank you very much.